Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Train Sim World 2 video. We are on the Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr. In fact, let me change that. We are doing BR422 S-Bahn service from Duisburg Hbf to BR422 to Bochum Hbf. All right. So, good morning, Mick. How are you? All right, everything's all set on that. So let's get in here and get things started. After yesterday's fiasco on Köln to Aachen, hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have any issues. All right, let's get in here and get going. Get the key in. If I can get the cursor. All right, and we are going to go to. I'm just going to pick an S1 service because it doesn't give Bochum as a destination, so we're just going to pick that. Just get something on the board. Let's see what else we got to do. Let's get the train lights on. Oh, we'll just get the spotlight on. There we go. All right, let's get SIFA and PZB. I had to come in here last night before I went to bed just to get an idea of. Let's get the door shut so we can get out of here on time. Figure out where things were. Let's get the blind shut. Passengers don't need to see what we're doing. So our final destination appears. Let's see if we can get. There we go. All right, Mulheim Styrum is next. Hopefully everybody's having a good Sunday morning. We are underway. Oh, yeah, good idea. Don't want to keep us waiting. We are a tough crowd. Yeah. Hey, Josh, how are you? Yeah, you know, I very nearly, after yesterday's core meltdown sort of thing, the memory issue and the game crash, basically, I very nearly went to the forums to speak very angrily, for lack of a better term, about what had happened. But I know the core update's supposed to be coming, and all that stuff is supposed to be resolved. Fingers crossed, right? That we're going to get, you know, a lot of these issues are going to be dealt with. But time will tell. But it's very difficult. You know, if I get, you know, still I think nobody's, you know, PS5 players are not. It's just the Xbox players that seem to be experiencing this issue. And I don't know what you know, what can we do about it? What can we say about it that they don't already know? So I figured this time I wasn't going to train surf so much because I want Patrick to see, hey, Pete, good morning. And Glenn, good morning. I want to be able to kind of show some of the things that, you know, we acknowledge along the way, because when I'm surfing, that's not always evident. Ooh, I bet I could get on the brakes here. Look at this already. It might be starting off on a bad footing already. Well, maybe not. These brakes seem to be pretty solid. There we go. Alright, we're back under control here. And we'll be on time. That's the way to start. On time. And we got a perfect stop too. I like it. So hopefully Glenn and Pete are both doing well. But yeah, I just figured it's easier to show a new player, you know, because Patrick's not. He was in here the other day, and I want to kind of be able to show the stuff that we call out or that we acknowledge, because it is easier if I zoom in from the cab to show that. So yeah. Alright, Bochum Platform 2. Alright, gotta quickly... let me see if Seif is going to pop off here in a second, so I can acknowledge that before I take a sip of my coffee. There it goes. Alright, so 120. I had to acknowledge that board right there, because that's our next speed right there. And the good thing is, when you're zoomed in, it does kind of slow things down a little bit, so if you're not sure, it's a little bit easier to read. You just use your analog stick to zoom in and you can see the stuff a little bit easier. Alright. We have a 90 coming up. And that's going to, of course, now we're under that 1000 hertz magnet. So we got to get well below. We got to really slow down here, because if we're not, we're going to get, the safety system is going to kick in. All right. Good morning, Pithers. Oh, nice. Hello, Mela. Busy farming today. Nice. Well, hopefully it's a nice relaxing time on the farm. So I did a scenario. I did one of the SD40 scenarios on Cane Creek last night. Oh, look at that. Another nice stop. Okay, that's fine. But you don't... Whatever. I'm not going to even... That's fine, Pithers. Whatever you want to do. Except for being nasty in my... Or not nasty, but saying some stuff that is going to get flagged in my chat. So, anyways, everybody enjoy the chat. Everybody enjoy the stream. Please. Okay. What was I gonna say? So yeah, I got that done. Boy, they are really, if you speed a little bit, like I was short a gold by like 150 something points. So yeah, I don't know where the points are going unless it's just if I'm speeding that often, and then just you have to be very exact on that route to get the to get your gold on there. What was I going to say? I also did do, there was one BR101 scenario that I didn't do. I did that here last night. I was going to run the 101 on here, but since that was done just this, yesterday by Joe, I'm like, well, I kind of negated that idea. So, yeah. There's one scenario journey on Cane Creek that is glitched, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about, Mick, because I did it, and when I pulled in there, the train just started moving on its own. I did that one, and yeah, it was like, what in the world is going on? So, anyway, we got a speed. So, Essen Fraunhausen is next. Going up to 140 here. So we come in to the station there. Just on the end of the station is at 120. So we should see a board for that reduction as we come into the station. I forgot the service number, but when you come in, yeah. Oh, okay. I may not have done that one yet then. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, I was going to play some Division 2 last night, but I was like, I think I'm going to take a break. So, I usually get up before I get on here. I'm usually running around on Div 2, but yeah, I was like, let me just do some stuff and try to do a few things off stream, and so it's like I got stuck there or something. Wow, look at this. This is gonna be... Ooh, I didn't think I was gonna get here in time. Slow down in time. I tell you, the brakes on this has been saving me. I've been nailing my stops, and we've been on time so far. Okay, so there's our new speed right there, but we should have... There should have been one back... A reduction warning. We probably acknowledged it and just didn't even... Oh, you were going to play a bit of that game, huh? Yeah, well, I normally do. So in the morning when I get up, before I start streaming, I go on there for about an hour or so, just running around on my own, which is fine. Lately, it's been in the evening. My group, we will run around, and next thing I know, it's like 10:30, almost 11 at night, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed, you know. So yeah, it's really okay. Let's acknowledge this as we go by. Once we get past it, there we go. All right, real quick run up the road to Essen West. So yeah, I go in for a little while, and then I get my fix in the morning. Just, I don't do a whole heck of a lot. I'm usually running around finding supplies and stuff to. But yeah, so I was gonna play last night, but we play for so long in the evening, like the time just goes by, and next thing I know, it's like it's getting late, and I gotta go to bed, and because otherwise I get up in the morning and I'm tired trying to do this, even though I've got my coffee and all that, so. We're gonna nail this one too. Yes, look at that. Boy, we are on fire this morning. Just nailing the stops on time. Woo-wee. We are on fire. Watch, it's all gonna fall apart in the latter half of the service. That's what usually happens. Alright, real quick, I'm gonna grab my coffee. Oh, I had to go get more creamer. I ran out of creamer yesterday, and I'm like, I can't drink coffee without creamer anymore. I can't. I usually had it with sugar, and I can't do that anymore. It's too acidic. All right. We don't have to acknowledge that one. There's nothing there. All right, and away we go. Wow, what, Josh? My epic stops this morning so far? Well, I'm telling you, it's going to all fall apart at some point. It does. That's the way it happens. All right, we got a 110 just outside of Essen, Hauptbahnhof, platform 11. Oops, no, see? I started speeding. Oops. So we should see the board for that. Probably... Nope, not this one. We'll acknowledge that one just to be on the safe side. Okay. Try to carry some momentum. It's easy to misjudge sometimes the distances Acknowledge that. Ah, we did it again. Wow. The pack is nice. I bought a new AP pack yesterday for the class. Oh, okay. Nice. I'm like, pack? What pack are you talking about? Alright, so, and then we have a further reduction right here. When we leave, we're going to be reduced to 80 kilometers. I believe that's because of the switches, you know, so we're going off that direction. So yeah, usually in this yard-like area, you're not supposed to go super fast, I think, because there's some switches, and we're going to be kind of going across a bunch of stuff, so. But I did like running in the DBR101 last night. It was fun. And the cars, I think I said this when the train was released, because it does have some classic German passenger cars. They do remind me a bit of the ones that I rode in when I was living in Germany. So yeah, I do like that. It was a fun little service, or the scenario I did. It was I think I did a scenario and I did a service on it. Maybe it was just a scenario. Yeah, it was just a scenario. It was the one where you have a 101 in the front and a 101 in the back. Balance power or something like that, I think it was called, the scenario. Alright, Essen Steel is next. Rob, you're on it today, mate. Spot on. Yeah, I try. It's not always easy, but I'm always leery of it because the you know, it's easy for it to fall apart, and it will. It generally will. It's usually like later in the service, towards the end, is when things get a little bit goofy. But we'll see. Knock on fake wood that will make it the whole way. So yeah, this is one of those. I would suggest if you're going to learn PZB and all that, this is a good route to do it, and this is a good train. Although I also think that if you run freight's a good way to learn it as well, because you're not under the time constraints and all that of the you know, having to be on time for the passengers. But yeah, I'm really glad. Like I was a bit, you know, like maybe not, maybe this isn't for me, but you know, watching Joe do it, I was like, I think I can do this. And you know, if you pick a route and go 5 times same direction, just get repetitive, then you'll start to notice where the stuff is. So it just takes practice, that's all. Yep, this is the one. And there was always one, and this is the one right here. So there it is. We didn't quite nail that one. We got $4.99 instead of our $500, but it's still good, but it wasn't perfect. That's okay. And it's hard because this one you're coming in downhill, and so it's kind of like you feel it's hard to judge the brakes sometimes because you think you got enough brakes, but it'll take a little bit longer to slow down. So all right, so there's an important thing to point out. So they got a 9 right there, which should mean that we have a 90. I do believe that means at some point, but we have a 100 kilometer on the opposite end of, or just past Essen Steel Ost, or meaning Essen Steel East. So I'm not sure why that 90 is there, but we'll acknowledge it anyway, just to be on the safe side. So a quick run up to Essen Steel Ost. Oh, and this time we're a little short, but that's okay. Otherwise, we made it just in time to get our 500. All right, so we'll acknowledge this one too because it does have the 9 there, but I'm just going to acknowledge it just to be safe. Just checking the chat real quick. So tomorrow we get to debut Microsoft Flight Sim on the Xbox. So that will be tomorrow morning in lieu of Train Sim World 2. Really excited for that. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. All right, Essen Eiberg is next. A lot of stuff in Essen that we stop at on this S-Bahn service. And I picked this specifically because I figured it was going to be a nice sort of... Alright, there's our 90 right there. So we were warned a couple times about a 90. So good thing we acknowledged those. This one, I think we are going to be a bit late on. Yeah, it's already 36, so yeah, we're going to be late now for the first time. See, I told you, it tends to fall apart there towards the end. We're in the latter half of our service now. So, yeah, so really looking forward to debuting the Flight Sim on the Xbox on here tomorrow. Not entirely sure what to expect, but we're going to try to make it work with the controller. So, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, really looking forward to that. And then Tuesday we'll be back on Train Sim World 2. We'll do Tees Valley line. We'll do some freight service on that with the Class 37. All right. Bontenscheid Untrop is next. So we are, that's our next stop right there. And then I think we have a few more stops along the way. Oops. And then we'll pull into Bochum. Alright, there's our speed going up. As soon as the tail end of our train, there we go. And I always thought that once you're the only two stuff you're supposed to be acknowledging is the yellow speed boards and signals. The white ones won't cause an influx on the train. By influx, I mean the train won't react. Okay, that sounds interesting. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Oh, look at this. Now I'm speeding. It's Amella's fault. I was looking at her, looking at the chat. Her long explanation. Yeah, I know. I usually, what I do sometimes is I'll see something and I'll acknowledge it just on the safe side. You know, not that it's always correct, but it's like better to be safe than sorry. You know. But I try to make sure I acknowledge the ones that, for, you know, correctly that do require it. But sometimes out of habit I just like, you know, let me just be careful and acknowledge it anyway, just so that I don't. Yeah. So we're going to be late now, I think, the rest of the way. So our on time has pretty much come to an end. Unfortunately. And sometimes you can make up the time, you know, but other times it's yeah, it's a bit difficult. You'll just never get back into the groove and get back on time. All right, well, at least we'll get our 500 for the stop. Okay, I had to get some more coffee in me for this. So we have real quick, we're going to look on the schedule. So we have Bochum Arnfeld and then Bochum Hauptbahnhof. So we are coming to the end. This didn't take as long as I thought it would. That's okay. We don't have to do a super long service. All right. Now, let's get back on the throttle here, get out of the station. Quick. It's about 4 kilometers to our next stop. So our destination, that's our first stop coming in, and then our next one will be up in here. So between the two, it shouldn't take long to get from this stop to our final stop. Yeah, so I'm really curious to see how it's going to play on the Xbox. I don't know what to expect, really. I've tried, you know, most everything I've seen, you know, watching gameplay, it's all on the PC, so it's a lot more in depth, I think. So, but if there's like a training sort of thing to go through, we'll do that. Because that'll probably take a bit of time, because we, you know, making sure we throw the right switches and everything. There's a DOS. That train, this train sounds the one the one I'm on, or the one that you're talking about that you got the AP pack for, Mela. That's kind of a very vague. What you just said was very vague. So yeah, for I think I've said this before, and for in case you haven't heard it before. So yeah, well before I loved cars and trains, I was very much into aviation, particularly military aviation. But I wanted to be able to fly. That was my dream when I joined the Army years ago. I wanted to be a avionics mechanic and then apply for warrant school and become an Apache pilot, because I thought that would be the coolest thing, is to have my name on an Apache. But my eyesight was never that good, so I was not able to. I scored high enough to get into an avionics school, but they didn't have any at the time. So, and I probably should have said, well, that's really what I want to do, and I'm not gonna enlist until I can get what I want. But all right, now that stopped too. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to doing something else I've always been, interested in. Like, I used to build model planes. I had tons of books about aviation, and there was a small airport north of the one you're on. Oh, well, I wasn't sure. North of the Bay Area where I lived, there was a small airport, and there was this. We would stop there going out to my grandparents up in Northern California, and they had this, restaurant, but they had this huge shop, and they had all these books about aviation, whether it was military or. All right, so we are under the 1,000 hertz magnet. I got to get back on the brake, otherwise we are going to get dinged very quickly. All right, brought that down at least. So yeah, I used to, whenever we'd stop there for breakfast or whatever, I used to just find books that I'm like, oh, I want to get this one, and, that was even before I started collecting comic books. So, my money would always go to big books about military aviation. So, yeah. So I'm really excited about doing the flight sim thing tomorrow. So we're finishing our service a little bit late, but that's okay. It happens. It would be very difficult for us to. We didn't have enough service left to try to get some of our time back. We could have if we sped excessively, but then that means we lose our action points. And yeah, not gonna do that. We get here safe and sound. The passengers get here safe and sound. So, yeah, I love my B-17 bomber. Yeah, that was one of I've seen them before. They have one that flies around. They take donations, of course. But yeah, all right. At least we nailed that stop at the end. For one of my birthdays, I got to be a passenger. Yeah, exactly. And they do that here, but it's expensive. But man, I would love. They have that one. They have a B-25, I think. That they tour together. But yeah, I would love to do that just to say that I did it. So there we go. 38 minutes to do that. Not too bad. So, there we are. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. I will be back tomorrow morning, same time, with Flight Simulator. And, yeah, see how that goes. All right. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday morning, afternoon,